Good morning and welcome to Mike Ferry TV. It is Mike Ferry. It is the week of November 13th. Okay, as we look at what we're going to do from now till the end of the year, and I hope you're looking at it very carefully, A, and B, I hope you're deeply involved in productivity because as we know, and I've said it time and time again, the number of people competing against you today are the lowest number or the lowest percentage of competitors you have all year. So you got to get into your mind that the number of transactions available, listings and sales, is going to decrease by a margin that is quite thin. The number of people playing the game called real estate, participating, being salespeople, it is big. So your chances for doing something extraordinary are better now than ever before. And I hope you understand that. So this is not the time to sit back, relax, and contemplate. This is the time to go to work. So I was asked by a friend to identify 4 or 5 thoughts that we could use today to become better than we have been in the past. 4 or 5 thoughts to accelerate our business between today, the 13th of November, and say the 22nd of this month, of December, excuse me. So there's some things we can do. So here, I want to share with you what I said to this particular person. I said, number 1, we have to know what to say if we're going to do what we're supposed to do. Why do so many agents not succeed in real estate? Because they will not learn, they will not accept that knowing what to say is the answer. You know, it's kind of sad, isn't it? If you went to an accountant, and probably you'll have to do that sometime soon for your tax records for 2018, and you sit on the accountant and you ask him a question and the accountant doesn't know how to answer, you're going to be nervous. If you're sitting down with an attorney and you ask a question and they can't answer, don't know what to say, you would be nervous. Sitting with your doctor and they've diagnosed a problem and you say, well, what's the solution? They go, I don't know. You'd be nervous. Well, how do you think a buyer and seller feel? They want a confident, strong, effective, straight to the point, real estate sales professional. They want you. But how do you develop that? By knowing what to say. And if you look at the real estate sales listing side first, there's a lot of stuff you have to learn to say. Now the question is, do you really want to, in 2018, earn the money that you say you want to earn? And are you willing to take that leap of faith and learn what to say to make that happen? And if you are, your confidence will increase between now and the end of the year. Your productivity will follow that, and you'll have a better Christmas and a better New Year's and a better January for cash flow. At some point, we have to come to grips with the fact that walking in on a listing and mumbling and fumbling and stumbling and telling them how great we are and how wonderful our company is and how successful we are and what a big shot we are is not enough to be competitive. Why? Because we are grooming and growing all over North America today powerful listing agents because they know what to say, therefore they know what to do. So here's what I said to my friend a couple weeks ago. We have to know what to say if we're going to do what we're supposed to do. Why do so many agents not succeed? They won't learn what to say. Don't be that agent. Then I said number 2, if we agree that listing agents will always earn more than showing agents, shouldn't we therefore commit to learning how to list property before 2018 starts, which means today? Okay, now watch. You've heard me say this time and time again. Selling real estate is relatively simple, it's just not easy. And listing property is relatively simple, but it's very competitive. Now, there's not a lot of players in your market that understand how to list property. There's a lot of players that know how to work with buyers. Now, you've heard me say time and time again, how much skill does it take to put a buyer in the car, drive him to a house, open the door, get out of the way, and let them decide if they want to buy? Because, as you've heard me say, buyers buy property because of the house, because of the condition of the house, the location. They buy because of the price. They buy because of the physical presence. All right? It's an emotional situation. Sellers list because of what the agent says and what they believe the agent can do. So therefore, being a listing agent takes a lot stronger sales skills than being an agent that works with buyers. The stronger the skills you have, obviously the more confidence, as I said a minute ago, you have, and the better job you do. If we agree that listing agents will always earn more, and they do, universal, than showing agents, shouldn't we commit to learning how to list property in 2018? All right, it's November 13th. What are your shortcomings on listing property? Is it the inability to find a prospect, to do good lead follow-up on the prospect, to pre-qualify the prospect, inability to know how to make a strong presentation, handle the objections? See, these are all learnable skills that you need to start working on today. And once you learn them, the profitability for your business increases dramatically. Here's the third point that I brought up to my friend. At some point, we have to recognize that being a professional salesperson in real estate is more productive than being a real estate person. Let me repeat that. We have to recognize at some point in our career. Now, watch. If your goal is to make 20, 30, 50,000 bucks a year, and your average commission is 7, 8, 10,000, you don't have to become a real strong real estate salesperson. You can just be a real estate person. You know, you can meander around, you can play on your computer, have a place to go, visit with friends, see properties, you know, all the things real estate people do. However, if you want to be a productive person and you really want to make a difference in your life and your family's life in terms of income, and you learn to live with those changes you can make, it's extraordinary what you can do. But you have to recognize that being a professional salesperson, whether it be selling real estate or selling yellow scratch pads or pens or jewelry or clothes or cameras, being a professional salesperson is a different category than being a real estate person. See, here's the difference. A professional salesperson understands the importance of time management and manages their time appropriately. A professional salesperson understands that you have to prospect. It doesn't matter what the business is. Sales industry people prospect. Only real estate people do not. They understand the critical importance of lead follow-up. Somebody says, I have an interest. Man, you're like a bee on honey if you're a professional salesperson. Being strong at the pre-qualifying process. Learning how to present yourself and your service on a professional level. Handling the objections that come up, because they all come up. Closing the sale, negotiating, and then starting over. See, it's a process you have to follow. A professional salesperson, you in real estate, follows the process. A real estate person, well, I just say what's ever on my mind at the time, and I do what I have to do to make a deal now and then. And, you know, if I can do a deal every few months and make 7,000, 8,000 bucks and, you know, provide a little extra for my family, come on, grow up. If your buyers and sellers thought that, if they knew that you were thinking that way, they would never work with you. Here's the fourth thought I said to this friend of mine. As you look at 2018, we have to source where our business comes from. A, what percentage were from listing sold versus buyer-controlled sales? B, is your business both predictable and duplicatable? If not, you're going to simply be subject to what goes on in the market. Folks, we have to really source our business. Okay, here it is, November 13th. How many deals have you done this year? 3, 5, 9, 12, 42. How many have you done? Can you put down the address and the name of the party in each one of these transactions and identify where that transaction came from? Well, 3 of them were buyers out of my 6 deals, Mike, and I was holding open house. Good, at least you know where they came from. I had 3 sellers, but one was a neighbor, one was my mother, and one was my brother. At least you know where they came from, okay? And then the last thing I want to mention to you guys and gals today, okay? And probably, if not the number one issue, but certainly one of the critical issues that we all have to deal with is the issue of complacency. Most of us have developed a standard of living. We're comfortable with that, and I'm glad you are. Probably frustrated with it to a certain degree. And you're frustrated because you're not getting back what you want in terms of financial resource. So the number one issue for most people then, outside of knowing what to say, is complacency, okay? And of course, you've heard me say that complacency is the disease of the human spirit. It's where we stop growing, stop trying, stop dreaming, stop being passionate about what we can accomplish in real estate. Folks, do you have any idea how competitive the market really is and how few people are in the market being competitive? If there's 1.2 million agents in the USA today, 50% of them have not done a deal this year so far. And of the 50% that have, most of those have only done 2 or 3. Watch, complacency. It's where you've given up or you're so comfortable you don't think you can do any better. Every year in October, November, December, the biggest challenge my company faces with our coaches is complacency. Every year in October, November, people say, well, I'm going to quit coaching because, I've kind of got it figured out and I'm kind of comfortable. Wait a minute. You got to where you are because you weren't complacent. You grew this year because you weren't complacent. So give all these thoughts a little bit of time. I would watch this particular show every day this week to get them deeply embedded in your subconscious mind so you can then become, in 2018, the person you want to become. Talk to you next week.